What's going on, my beautiful people? Today I'm going to teach you guys all about man coverage in football, and I'm going to use a video game to do it. I know you guys are sitting at the crib sometimes and the announcer says, yo, they're playing man coverage right here on third down, and you're sitting at the crib like, buddy, I got no idea what you're talking about. Don't worry, I got you. And I played defensive back at Syracuse University for 4 years, so I think I know a little something about playing man coverage in football. And before we go any further, make sure you tell your sister, your mother, your brother about the things we're doing here on this channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. In the best case scenario, we would like to match skill on skill. What do I mean by that? That means I want my cornerbacks guarding wide receivers, my safeties guarding tight ends, and then my linebackers guarding running backs. Now, there are scenarios where a Cole Bishop will be lined up on a wide receiver. We've seen that. Remember, he lined up with Xavier Worthy in the Chiefs game and other situations this season. And there are also times where, hey, a linebacker is going to have to line up with a tight end. But best case scenario, this is how you want to match up the look. Linebackers on backs, safeties on tight ends. There are two types of coverages in football, man and zone. For the sake of this video, we're going to just focus on man. And man coverage is much easier for your brain power upstairs. It's quite simple. You have a guy and you follow him from when the ball is snapped until you hear the whistle blow. If he goes in motion, you follow him. As you can see, Taron Johnson is following Khalil Shakir across the formation. If he goes to the sideline and needs a quick little Gatorade, you go over there too. If he goes to the bathroom, you open up the door for him. The point is that you have a man-to-man coverage and you follow him wherever he goes. Let's get to the strengths and weaknesses of man coverage in football. The biggest strength of them all is that it's the most simple coverage to execute. There isn't a lot of communication required. I have a guy, you have a guy, let's go play ball. Especially at the lower levels when you don't have to worry about rub routes and post-snap routes down the field. In the NFL, it gets a little bit more difficult, but for the middle school, youth, pee-wee, high school levels, sometimes even collegiate levels, you just got the guy in front of you and go rock out. Another strength is that it forces the quarterback to be precise and accurate, especially down the field. If your DBs are sticky in coverage, well, the quarterback doesn't have a lot of room for error. If he's not accurate, it could be tips and overthrows leading to interceptions, or he got opposing receivers cussing him out on the sideline because he's not getting the ball. Now, it isn't all dandelions and roses in man coverage. The biggest con is that you have your back to the opposing team's quarterback. What do I mean by that? It makes it really difficult to get interceptions if you can't see when the quarterback is throwing the ball as a cornerback, especially on like go balls. If you're running down the field step for step with a wide receiver, you're looking at the wide receiver. You don't know when the ball is going to drop into his hands. So it's much more difficult to make plays in that regard. Also, in man coverage, you're susceptible to quarterback scrambles. If everyone has their back to the quarterback guarding their man, well, who has their eyes on the quarterback, especially once he brings contain in the pocket and he gets past the 4-man or maybe even 5-man rush in certain situations? That's where man coverage can get a little tricky. You got to make sure the guys up front are really, really stout in their pass coverage rushes, because if they get outside of that pocket, it's nothing but green grass. Bills fans, y'all know all about Josh Allen scrambling in open space when the opposing defense is in man coverage. Another kind of playing man coverage is that it can be exploited with the right route concept. What do I mean by that? Bills fans, you guys know all about the concept mesh. It's when two wide receivers cross each other. They're trying to create a rub route or a mesh to get wide receivers open. Well, as a DB, it's hard to run step for step and be glued onto your wide receiver if you got to run through traffic to do so. All right, let's get to a little bit of gameplay so I can show you guys what man coverage looks like in practice. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to play man coverage every single snap, even when it's situations where I probably shouldn't, but I'm just going to show you guys the pros and cons of doing so. So boom, we got man on man across the board, matching skill on skill. Taylor Rapp lined up with their tight end, Terrell Bernard, Bucky Irvin in the backfield. Little play action route. That's clamps everywhere. Baker Mayfield ain't got nowhere to go with the ball. PBU, that's straps, baby. Now, there's different versions of man coverage. We'll touch on that in a later video, but we're just doing the basics here. Man on man everywhere across the board again. Give me those. Taylor Rapp, we to the crib, we to the crib. Nah, that boy, he ain't got the wheels on him. But once again, you have to be super precise as a quarterback against man coverage, because if you aren't, interceptions like that can happen. But once again, as you guys can see, we're matching skill on skill everywhere. Cole Bishop lined up with Cade Otton there in the slot. Matt Milano lined up with a running back. Man everywhere. Doesn't look like he has any man beaters. Trey White, once again, accurate and precise. All right, we got 3rd and 7 here. I love man coverage on 3rd down because you're really forcing your quarterback, the opposing team's quarterback, to be precise. Oh, we jamming up Mike Evans at the top of the screen. I love that. Christian Benford. No, that's Trey White. Trey White still can make some plays like that. He did that in real life too. Man across the board again. So here's some rub routes. See if we can feed them in real life. 5A Matt Milano making a play there. That is cover one, man coverage, where you're going to have man across the board, one high safety, and then a linebacker underneath. I'll break that down in a later video, but that is one way to combat all of those rub routes, is when you drop a little robber in the middle of the field like that to kind of take away those crossers across the middle of the field. And that's one of the cons. Listen, if you get beat, there's not really anyone who can help you out depending on the coverage, and that's exactly what happened right there. And as you can see there, that's one of the cons as well. Everyone has their back to the quarterback. They are guarding their man, and the quarterback is able to skirt outside of the pocket. Even someone like a Baker Mayfield, who isn't super athletic like Lamar, Josh, or Patrick Mahomes. If your back is to the quarterback, well, it makes it fairly easy for them to escape if the defensive linemen don't have good pass rush integrity lanes. All in all, man coverage is my favorite thing to run in football because it's the ultimate test of your skills as a receiver and a DB. The same drills that we've been running since the summer, the same drills that we've been doing since we were 7, 8 years old. Is one-on-one. Who can win in a phone booth? That's why I love it so much. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Y'all be blessed, and I'll see you next time.